Hey everybody, Rich from Elk Endeavors here. Hey, I wanted to talk to you tonight about the lack of doubt that I had in this story. Sorry, I lost my concentration. I'm getting ready to go exercise here. I've got my jump ropes. Oh, my kids have knocked my jump ropes out. All right, well, I guess I'll wait to get that set up. I wanted to talk to you tonight about the lack of doubt that I had in the story that is going to take place here that I'm going to talk about. So, as many of you know, I was a bike tour director for 6 years, and as a bike tour director, I was in charge of leading bike tours across the United States. Okay, and this is all going to pertain to affiliate marketing and doubt and self-doubt and self-progress and all the things that I've been talking about. But this is the story that I want to illustrate with, because there was zero doubt in my mind in this particular story. So we had a leg of the tour. It was a 9-week tour. This one was a 9-week tour from Seattle to Boston, and we had to go from Worland, Wyoming to Buffalo, Wyoming. And you can look it up on a map. And pardon me, I was gonna do this on a map, but the screen was too bad. But so you on the map, you'll see that there's one town between the two. Between Worland and Buffalo, there's Ten Sleep. And so this ride was like legendary in the tour. And so we were all prepared for it. We were all scared of it. People were scared of it. I had heard about it. I had never ridden it. But it was a 90-mile ride, 50 miles uphill, like mountain climbing on a bicycle uphill, like on Tour de France, with switchbacks and everything. And 25 miles up at the beginning, the starting 25 was this sort of gradual uphill. So you couldn't really tell that you were going uphill, but you couldn't get speed or momentum going enough to feel like you were moving anywhere. So I started out, and probably about half the riders actually left while it was still dark out because they wanted to beat the heat. So we're in Wyoming, it's very hot. It was nice and cool when we got up. It's dry, but it gets very hot. And so we a lot of the riders left, but my job, because I was the director, I had to bring up the rear, because I would pass by riders and sort of encourage them on the way, and that would help when they saw me out on my bike. That would help them feel better about what they were doing and motivate them, because I was the leader. And so I left around about 7:30, I would say, and I rode to, it was either 6:30 or 7:30. And I rode to Ten Sleep, and that took me about 2 hours, because it was, like I said, it was a gradual uphill. It was about 25 miles, gradual uphill, and I got to Ten Sleep, Wyoming. Now, Ten Sleep is named Ten Sleep because it was the Native American, it was a stopping point for them. They got off the mountain, and it was 10 sleeps or 10 nights on horseback before they got to the Pacific Ocean. So they had to ride 10 more days to get to the Pacific Ocean, and that's why they called it 10 Sleep, because they had to sleep over 10 nights to sleep over. So we got to Ten Sleep, took a break at this place called Dirty Sally's. It's not what it sounds like. It was like a little ice cream stand / general store / I don't even remember what. But we took a little break, and then I rode on the route, and I made a right turn. And as soon as I turned, it was started up the mountain. So there was and again, it was 50 miles uphill. And when, if you've ever seen the Tour de France where they have the switchbacks and they go back and forth, that's what it was like. Not the whole way, but there were many of those on that particular ride. So you're riding along, and you're going 7 to maybe 10 miles an hour if you're really good. And a lot of people were just trying not to walk. And I hadn't even thought of any of this stuff. I just knew that I was going to ride this ride, because I was the leader. And so I kept riding, and I finally got to Powder River Pass, which is the pass. It's the Continental Divide. And when you're in the Rockies, you'll see that if you've ever gone over a pass in the Rockies, it's called the Continental Divide, and that's where the watershed goes either to the Pacific or to the Mississippi. And so I got to the Continental Divide, I got to Powder River Pass, and usually what happens when you get to a pass is that you go downhill, and you fly downhill for 10-15 miles, and then you're in the next place. With Powder River Pass, however, what happened was you went downhill a little bit, and then you round a bend, and then you had to go back uphill, and then you round down, and then you go up, and it's just this sort of like up and down, for 20, a good more like 15 miles, I think. Trying to calculate that out. So 25, 70, yeah, so it's about 15 more miles. And finally got down to Buffalo. And you see the Buffalo sign, and when I got there, I was like, I was arms up like I'd won a stage of the Tour de France. I was really excited, and I was excited that I'd beat the ride. And so the last insult to injury was, in the end, you make a turn toward we were staying in high schools. We were camping at high schools, and we stayed at Buffalo High School. And at the high school, you come up to the high school, and there's literally like a wall of road. The hill to get up to the school was incredible. So I saw it, and I knew it was coming, but I didn't know what it actually was. So I got there and I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is that hill. And so I just started flying. I ran, I rode my bike as hard as I could to get as much momentum, as much speed as I could, up to get up the hill. So I got, I hit it, and it was like hitting a wall. So I hit it and immediately slowed down, and I saw on my speedometer, it was like 15, I got up to like 15, 20 miles an hour, and then it went down to 15, then it went down to 12, and then 10, and then 8, and then 7, and then 6, and I ended up at 3 miles an hour. I could keep my bike upright at 3 miles an hour. And what I had to do was I had to crisscross the road, because I couldn't keep my bike upright going straight up, because 3 miles an hour wasn't cutting it. So I had to go crisscross. And I finally got up the road, and at the top of the road, the riders that had finished before me, they were all there to cheer everybody on. So they knew like how they had already been there. They knew how hard it was. So they were up there cheering everybody on like we all had won the Tour de France. And so I got there, and then I joined in with them. And the last rider, I left around, I think, 6:30. The last rider, and I was the last rider to leave, the last rider to get to the school got there at 8:45 that night. And so we were supporting those people, we were supporting those riders, trying to get them, to help them up and help them ride. But every single person made it, and that was really awesome. And the reason I wanted to tell you this story is because this is an illustration of when doubt never entered my mind. There was no question in my mind that this was going to happen. I was going to do this. I was going to ride this ride, and there was nothing else to it. There was no other way about it. And like I said, I didn't have to think like that, because doubt was not a part of this equation. I kind of had to do it, and I think that's part of it, is that I had to do the ride because I was the leader. But the main thing is that I did not ever doubt that I could do it. And that's where we have to get to when we try to do anything. And I say try. I don't use try, right? When we decide to do something, like if you decide that you're going to be an affiliate marketer, you're going to decide. You're not going to try it, because then you won't succeed. If you try to do it, then you're not going to succeed. If you decide that you think you want to see how things go, you're not going to succeed. You have to just do it. And once you do it, and once you make that decision, then there's no turning back, and it's a beautiful thing. And you just ride and ride and ride and ride until you get there, until you make it successful. And that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today, because that's the ultimate goal, is to make sure that you are successful. And you do that by not doubting yourself, and by not even letting doubt into your mind. And that takes training. It's not a natural thing. Doubt it's actually a good thing that you have doubt, because it protects you. But you have to be able to defend against doubt immediately. So as soon as it comes in your mind, you think, nope, I'm doing it, and that's that, and you just let it go. And that takes a lot of training, and it takes a lot of thought and a lot of perseverance, but ultimately that's what makes you successful. So that's what I want to finish this little series about stories with. Again, start curating your stories. Start thinking about the stories that you have in that you've lived through, that can help illustrate what it means to be an affiliate marketer, what it means to be successful, and whatever it is that you're doing in life. And that's going to make you successful. So I very much appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this series on storytelling. If you did, please drop me a line. Let me know how I'm doing. Subscribe to my channel. Check out the 4% Success Challenge. It's linked out below. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you tomorrow with a new subject on YouTube. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.